I think my biggest issue with Dungeons and Dragons, outside of just the fact that like it sucks ass and most of it's boring, is the fact that I've talked about this before, but let's actually go into my hatred for D&D. I think that like D&D is a system that pretends to be rules light. Like it pretends to be a system where you don't need to know the rules, and the way that it does that is by dumping like half of the rules onto, yeah, the GM decides. Or alternatively, it just has a bunch of, like, one of the things you'll notice when you play Path is like, yeah, things can be a bit complicated, but it's also very easy to figure things out because you're like, okay, this does this, and this is like a well-documented mechanic or status effect, and I can just look up what that does. Then you go to Dungeons and Dragons, and like every other fucking spell does something, has like some different effect that is, you have to do fucking 10 different Google searches, go on to the third page of, like the third Reddit page, and you finally find someone coming up with their own interpretation, like, oh, fuck it, we'll go with that for now because I can't be bothered to look anymore. Like, it's rules light, and that half of it's just like random shit, and then the other half is, oh yeah, just let the DM decide. And the problem is that because Path or D&D dumps all of the responsibility on the DM, now there's this weird sort of like expectation within the Dungeons & Dragons community that DMs are just fucking, like, you just do everything. Because if you've ever seen like a campaign, like a live campaign, and I'm not calling anyone out specifically here, but there are some live campaigns where I will watch them and then like I see it's like session 50 and there are still players. Well, okay, to be fair, I don't watch those campaigns until session 50, but it's like very late in the game, and then there are players who are like asking the DM how their spells work or how their character works, which I think is fucking I can get some. I think that is fucking insane. The idea that like players are so lacking in any sort of engagement with the system that they just expect the DM to know how their own character works. Like, I get you can't memorize every spell, but like the DM's doing 7 other things because Dungeons & Dragons has dumped all the responsibility on them, and now you're just also dumping your entire character on them. Like, I just think that the system sucks overall. It's incredibly mediocre. It pretends to be rules light by either not having consistent rules or dumping all the rules on the DM, and then because of that, there's a sort of community that's evolved that like dumps all the responsibility for everything on the DM. And then on top of that, because there's basically no fucking consistent rules for the system, people just assume, oh yeah, you can just homebrew D&D into anything. And all that does is give D&D a greater monopoly on the overall TTRPG space because people are less willing to try out other systems because other systems might actually force them to learn the rules rather than just dump it all on the fucking DM.